So despite my best attempts to think of a snappy opening line to this video, the only thing I can think of are incredibly cliche things like hello world and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I'll just ignore all of those, and all of that will be my opening line. The inability to find opening line is my opening line. So hope all of you are doing well, my subscribers, my YouTube followers, my human girl at wordpress.com followers. Hope y'all are doing well. I recently posted my third official blog post on Human Girl, a poem entitled Gifts. And it was something that I've been running through. The content was something I've been running through my mind for last couple days, and specifically related to a couple incidents that really helped me process things this past week. It was kind of a harder week for me. I was just kind of overwhelmed by a lot of things going on in my life, and my personality too tends to want to fix everything. I'm kind of a fixer. When people are in trouble, when people are in pain, it's somehow my cue to step in like some kind of emotional Florence Nightingale. And so it's hard for me to know how to deal with that. It can be overwhelming. I take things in and I hold them real close. I'm a big feeler and really sensitive, and so I can pick up on what people are feeling, or if there's something intense going on. I don't just, I kind of absorb it like a sponge. I'm kind of like a lightning rod for people's emotions, so to speak. And so there has to be a balance and a boundary there in how much I take in and how I process it. And I was just overwhelmed this week, and it was making me feel down and depressed and disappointed and discouraged. And the one thing that enabled me to get through that, that just short window of, I would say about 3 or 4 days, was I was really helped by some of my hobbies, some of my skills. I'm a singer. Obviously I enjoy writing. And so I would sit down at the end of the day and I would write, or I would sing. And I'm a Christian, so I sing a lot of Christian music. I sing it to God as a way to pour out my heart, and I just a beautiful way to express myself, but also bring Him glory even in times when I feel incredibly hopeless. And then my writing, I did a lot of writing just for myself, things I didn't share with anyone else, but things that are incredibly close to my heart, and things that come out in terms of like free association writing, they call it in psychology. You just kind of spill your guts on an empty blank page, and whatever comes out, kind of like a messy brainstorming session. And I was just struck by the fact how much I was helped by this, by the ability of my hobbies and my talents and my skills to kind of serve a redeeming purpose in my life by grounding me in who I was, reminding me that there's still beauty in the world, even when I'm feeling, like everything in my life is a mess. And I came out of that thinking, if that's the case for me, how much is it for other people as well? The ability of art and imagination and creativity and story and whatever our talents and gifts may be. You may be an athlete, you may not be a musician, you may be someone who's great at visual art and painting. You may not enjoy writing at all. So it can be different stuff for different people. But I believe we're all made in the image of God. And because of that, I find that God has invested, 2 or 3 or 4 big gems in terms of a particular talent, skill, or ability in each one of us. And that is a treasure that we all carry. And I find that it's not just a treasure to impact other people, although that's obviously a real thing too. I find that those treasures end up working so beautifully for us in our lives as well. I find a couple different things. One, that they help remind me when I'm in a hard time, exercising my gifts, whether it's even just for myself, whether it's just writing a poem that no one else will read, or dancing, or singing something that no one else will hear, and it's not for anyone else, it's for me. It grounds me in who I am. I find that a big part of inner healing that's hard when you're going through something and trying to grow and heal and going through a focused season of therapy or self-help or whatever it is, because you're so laser focused on what the issues and the problems are in your life that you're trying to overcome, which is again a good thing to have a focused season to do. But I find, at least for my personality, it's hard not to define yourself in that particular season or get so down in that particular season by obsessing on the things that are bad about you or like wrong about you, or that are just simply messy, or that just simply remind you that you're very human. And so I find that when I exercise the things that allow me to bring out the positive sides of my personality, or allow me to feel the most like myself and the most genuine, that grounds me more in who I am, in the full holistic sense of who I am, with all sides of my personality being accepted. And that enables me to grow and develop as a whole person and flourish in a season where I could get depressed and down because I'm so busy working on the stuff in my life that is intense and that I need to heal from. But being artistic, so to speak, and again, that applies to whatever hobby or talent you enjoy, enables you to really, I think, embrace all sides of yourself, and it grounds you and reminds you of who you are. And in that sense, it can be very redemptive. The idea that the gifts that God deposits in us, the talents and the skills and the abilities, have the ability to end up turning around and becoming just redemptive, have a redemptive purpose in our life, and that those are things that we can hold on to as very stabilizing kind of forces in our life. And I think the second thing I mentioned earlier briefly is that exercising your gifts and your talents and your skills, whatever that is, and being genuine in that, not only reminds you of who you are and brings out, gives you the safety and the genuine place to work stuff out, but it also enables you to kind of just remind yourself that there's still beauty and there's still positive things in the world. I think it can be all too easy when you're having a moment or a season in life where it's incredibly difficult or depressing, or just stuff is happening, or you're just finding a lot of stuff in yourself, and it's just a intense season of personal growth. I find that it's all too easy to get lost in that black hole of, well, this is, I'm just discouraged right now. And exercising my talents in being able to, write or sing or whatever, oftentimes, again, simply for myself, it lifts my heart a lot, because I recognize that there is still there's still beauty in the world, and also the idea that I'm empowered to control my own story, in the sense that, if stuff happens to you that you didn't choose, which is, I think everyone walking this planet has experienced stuff that they wouldn't have chosen, but other people have done or said to them, and that has been incredibly hurtful. There's this idea that you can fall into this mentality that, oh, I'm a victim of other people, or just of life in general. That saying that life happens, makes sense and it's true, but I think that we should happen to life, and life should follow our lead, in the sense that I used to just lay back and just be like, you know what, people and life, somehow it's all kind of a conspiracy, and like, I don't have any control, and I get hurt, and when I trust, I get hurt, when I open up, I get hurt, and all of that may be true. But what is also true is that I have an incredible amount of power to control how I feel, how I relate, how I deal with and react to the things that people do. And in that sense, because only I have the power to choose how I react, that gives me an incredible amount of empowerment over my life and my choices, and where I decide to go, and how the pain and the hurt can impact me or not impact me. And in that sense, I'm very empowered and very much in control of my own life, and not a victim at all of anything. And as much as things may legitimately hurt, and my art and my abilities remind me of that. When I exercise my poetry or my singing, to sing and to write about what I'm going through, but to look to the other side, to kind of see the forest or the trees, or to remind myself of who I am or who I want to be in the midst of the pain, it's a catalyst that brings me forward and enables me to realize, hey, I actually am empowered over my own story, and I can make choices, and I can turn something that is ugly, something that someone did, and I can turn it into something beautiful, something that helps other people. I can make it a poem that touches other people's hearts and enables them to feel like there's someone out there that understands. It could be anything like that. It could be a song that moves people to tears. I think so many of the great songs that we love were born out of tragedies and traumas, and people took what was messy and they made it something that was beautiful. So we're very empowered. There's always beauty in the world, and we need to be reminded of who we are, even when we're facing the mess of who we are. So anyway, I love y'all, and I hope you enjoy the video, and check out the poem Gifts on Human Girl at WordPress.